Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into one of the most literally fascinating mysteries of life itself, the algebra of inheritance. We're going to figure out exactly how traits get passed down from parents to offspring. It's this brilliant mix of biology, simple math, and honestly, pure wonder.
We're actually kicking things off with a profound piece of wisdom from Proverbs. Wise people store up knowledge. Now, we're starting here because learning how traits are inherited, it isn't just about memorizing dry science facts. It's a really brilliant way to store up knowledge about life's miraculous yet highly predictable design. The more we understand the mechanics of creation, the wiser we become.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the mystery of inheritance, why Punnett squares matter, setting up the square, predicting eyes and dimples, reviewing the basics, and finally, education, morality, and peace. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The Mystery of Inheritance.
All right, meet your new best friend in genetics, the Punnett square. So a Punnett square is basically a visual decoder ring. It's this beautifully simple tool that helps us predict how traits might be inherited from parents to their kids. And it does this just using the math of probability. Basically, it takes the invisible code hidden inside of us and puts it right onto a grid that we can actually see and calculate. How cool is that?
Now, to use this tool, you absolutely have to understand the secret language of genetics. We have dominant traits, which are strong and kind of always take charge. We write these using capital letters. Then, on the flip side, we have recessive traits. These are the hidden traits, easily masked by the dominant ones, and we write these using lowercase letters. Think of dominant as like the loud voice in the room, and recessive as the quiet whisper.
Moving on to Section 2, why Punnett squares matter.
So, why do these matter? Well, they take the guesswork out of biology. Just like flipping a coin, traits are passed on with certain, calculable chances. This tool allows literally everyone, from doctors figuring out family health to farmers breeding better crops, and even you, to predict how things like hair color, dimples, or even certain inherited diseases might show up in the next generation. It perfectly shows how inheritance is totally predictable, yet somehow still completely miraculous.
Section 3. Setting up the square.
Let's get hands-on here. Setting up the square is just a simple three-step process. First, determine your letters. Remember, capital for the strong dominant alleles, lowercase for the hidden recessive ones. Second, draw a basic 2x2 grid. Place one parent's genetic letters across the top and the other parent's down the side. Finally, step 3, you just fill in the intersecting boxes. You drop the top letters down and slide the side letters right across.
Okay, let's see what that actually looks like in practice. Say we have two parents, and both have one dominant capital B and one recessive lowercase b. We call this a BB genotype. We put one parent on the top, big B, little b. We put the other on the left, big B, little b. Now, when we pull those letters into the middle grid, we get 4 brand new combinations. One box gets 2 capital Bs. 2 boxes get a capital B and a lowercase b. And that one single box down in the bottom right corner, it gets 2 lowercase b's.
Section 4. Predicting eyes and dimples.
So what does this actually mean? Well, in humans, brown eyes are dominant, so they get the capital B, while blue eyes are recessive with the lowercase b. As you can see broken down here, that one BB combination gives a 25% chance of brown eyes. The 2 BB combinations, those also result in brown eyes because the dominant capital B totally takes over, so that's a 50% chance. But look at that last box, BB. Because there's no dominant capital letter to overpower it, the hidden trait is finally revealed. That leaves us with a 25% chance, or exactly 1 in 4, of having a child with blue eyes. Let's look at another trait, dimples. We see the exact same math at play here. Having dimples is a dominant trait. Let's call it capital D. If two parents both carry the dominant and recessive genes, meaning they're both DD, they have a 75% chance of passing on dimples. That's the 25% DD plus the 50% DD. There's only a 25% chance their kid won't have dimples. The math just remains perfectly consistent every single time.
And hey, if you're feeling pretty proud of yourself for mastering this, you absolutely should be. This is the exact same foundational method used by Gregor Mendel, the brilliant guy known as the father of genetics. Long before we had fancy modern labs, Mendel used these exact mathematical principles and squares to study flower color and seed shape in pea plants. He literally unlocked the laws of inheritance for the whole world.
But wait, before we move on, I need you to remember one absolutely crucial point. Punnett squares only show probability.
They show the possible combinations. Just like flipping a coin, knowing there's a 50-50 chance of landing on heads doesn't actually guarantee your next flip will be heads, right? These squares give us the exact mathematical chances, but the final outcome? It is not guaranteed.
Section 5. Reviewing the basics.
Let's do a quick review. First question, what is a Punnett square used for? Think back to our decoder ring analogy. It's a mathematical tool that uses probability to predict how traits might be inherited from parents to offspring. Basically, it makes the invisible visible.
Next up, what's the difference between a dominant and a recessive trait? Remember those voices in the room? Dominant traits are the strong ones that take over, represented by capital letters. Recessive traits are the hidden ones that only show up when a dominant trait isn't around, and we write those with lowercase letters.
All right, quick mouth check. If both parents have a BB genotype, what percentage of their children will be BB? Well, based on that 2x2 grid we built earlier, where 1 out of the 4 boxes was double lowercase, the answer is exactly 25%.
Finally, why aren't Punnett squares guarantees? Well, they aren't guarantees because inheritance, right at the moment of conception, is ultimately a matter of chance. It's a probability, not a definite script. And this perfectly illustrates God's beautiful balance of mathematical order and wondrous mystery in creation.
And that brings us to Section 6, Education, Morality, and Peace.
When we look at this intricate balance of order and mystery in genetics, the way life is so perfectly calculated, yet still full of awe, we're reminded of a really deep spiritual truth. Romans chapter 8, verses 6 through 7 promises a profound peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. You see, understanding science shouldn't pull us away from spirituality. It should actually deepen our awe and bring us true peace.
And this is exactly why the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner series intertwines biblical morality directly with education. Because let's be real, education without morality actually hurts. We can learn all the math and science in the world, we can calculate probabilities and decode genomes all day long, but being smart without making moral, spiritual choices, that only leads to bad decisions that ultimately cause pain.
So as you master the algebra of inheritance today, and as you store up this incredible scientific knowledge, I want to leave you with a final, really vital thought. What is the point of being highly educated and supposedly smart if we don't use it alongside a strong moral compass? Will you just be smart, or will you use your beautifully inherited mind and your stored-up knowledge to make choices that bring lasting peace to yourself and the world around you?